What's up guys, another video here out on the range. This time I want to make a video of this Steyr 26-inch 308 bolt action rifle. I think it's their Pro THB model, and the more I shoot this, the more I want to make a video of it. The more I love it, the more everything's just so perfect. The trigger, how well it shoots, the recoil, even with this suppressor, it's beautiful. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that, you know, I sight this in at a decent range or a good range where I have a good maximum point blank range. What that means is that what I want is you can pick a defined target. Say that you want to hit a 4-inch target all the time with no holdovers, meaning you always just aim where you want to hit and you have +2 or -2 on the elevation there, that you're always going to hit this 4-inch target. So that's what I want to do. And if you go to Shooter's Calculator, you can type in your velocity, your bullet coefficient, all of that information. It's going to calculate for you with the ammunition that you want to use what your first or near zero is going to be. And I already did that, and it should be at 28 yards. So I have a target down there at 28 yards. I sighted this in a few months ago with this, let's see. And it's with this ammunition, by the way, the Federal Gold Medal Sierra Match King 168 grain bullet. I was reading a lot of things about this ammunition, pairs perfectly with this. This is a 1 in 12-inch twist rate, guys. So that's a little bit different than what you typically see, which is 1 in 10. So it's not spinning it as fast, but anyway, it says that it really likes this 168 grain bullet. So let's go ahead and confirm the zero, because I haven't shot it at this distance to ensure that it's still there. You know, things kind of got in the way. You know, I got to sight it in. I wanted to shoot it some more, but I haven't shot it for at least, you know, 3 or 4 months. So let's go ahead and confirm zero. At the same time, I've got a chronograph here as well. Let's go ahead and chronograph, because right now, in order to make those calculations, I was using the box velocity, which says 2,650 feet per second. And let's go ahead and confirm it with just 3 basic shots with the 3 different accuracy tests here and see what we actually get here. Okay, so we're going to do the chrono, get 3 chronographs. We're going to confirm our zero at 28 yards with this Federal 168 grain. It's going to be my go-to ammunition because I know that it grouped well when I first tried it a few months ago. So let's go ahead and close the bolt, get our 3 shots, see what happens.
2,625.
2,625, and it says we should be at 2,650. So we're only 25 feet per second slower out of a 24-inch barrel. Respectable, I guess. Not sure which barrel they used.
2,642.
That one was dead on. I might have pulled the first shot, which if this is dead on again, then okay, we'll ignore that flyer.
2,634.
Let's go check it out, guys. We are at 2634, 2642, 2625. So none of it got at 2650 or more, but you know, it's more or less pretty consistent because, you know, standard deviation of 7 and the average was 2633. So I'm not disappointed with this ammo. This ammo is very, very good. So good to know what the actual velocity is, because once you have that, you can fine tune your shooter's calculator a little bit more. But since 2650 is more or less the same as this, well, let's see here. Does anything change when we do 2633 instead of 2650? Let's go ahead and try it. Okay, so instead of using the 2650, which was the advertised velocity, I went ahead and used the average of 3 shots of 2633 feet per second on that kind of ammunition. Left everything else the same. And now it says that my near zero should be 27 yards instead of 28 yards. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like at 28 yards. I have some ammo. I kind of iffy on switching it by 1 yard. Doesn't really matter. Let's see. Okay, the far zero. Hold on. Let me go back and just double check here. The far zero originally was 196 yards and now it's 191 yards. So in any case, what that means is that in order to hit any target of a 4-inch size, your near zero is going to be 27. You know, it's going to go up, and once the trajectory comes back down a little bit, that far zero is going to be at 191 yards, and then the maximum point blank range means, you know, okay, the bullet can keep dropping and still be within that bottom half of that 2-inch gap there, you know, because you split the target in half, and so you can go up to 224 yards and always hit a target that is 4 inches in diameter. And originally that was 229 when I was using the velocity of the advertised velocity, and now with the actual velocity, it drops from 229 to 224 yards is the far zero, or the maximum point blank range. So you always want to keep these in mind if that's what you're going with. Anytime I take the rifle out now I know that I don't ever have to compensate my aim or anything. You know, of course, if you want to hit bullseyes all the time, but if you want to know that you're always going to hit a 4-inch target, I know that, you know, I can go out to the range, and if anything is less than 220 yards or maybe 200, I know that I don't have to do any holdover, and I'm always going to hit the target. We're going to test that out at a farther distance as well. The maximum range at this range here is 200 yards, so that's as far as I'm going to be able to go anyway. But this is a pretty neat target. It's like a reflective one. But anyway, there's my 28-yard group here. First shot was here on the left, second shot dead center, third shot a little bit high, but everything stayed at least in what, a 1/2 inch group. That's why I really love this Steyr. It's super accurate, amazing. But let's go ahead and try this at 27 yards. I will actually try to now sight it in. Maybe I need to lower or not. Maybe it'll be perfectly good, and then I don't have to do anything, which will be even perfect. So let's see what happens at 27 yards. Well, guys, actually, I'm going to decide not to mess around with the sights or move it at 27 yards. I've been trying to do that back and forth. I'm moving the target. Sometimes I get 27, then I get like a random 26 or 29, and then I move it a little bit more to adjust, and then it's always kind of those numbers. So I think, you know, the first one at 28 yards, it's still going to be good there, I think. So anyway, this is sighted in at that near zero, more or less, 28. We can call it 29, 27 is probably at least plus or minus 1 yard, right? So in any case, we know our velocity. It's not far off from the advertised velocity. So in this video is probably going to be a little bit long because I want to do a full review of this Steyr rifle. I absolutely love it. I want to try it with so many different things and do so many things with it. So right now, what I'm trying to do is confirm my near and far zeros. So later on in the video, I'll go ahead and try it out at the 200-yard range to see where we're at in the 4-inch target, more or less. And I want to do some other things in this video with some other ammo tests and suppressor tests, okay? So if this video is getting too long for you, just go ahead into the description. You'll see different chapters in the timeline, and just go to that part of the video where it's interesting for you. But actually, so this video is also gonna be part of an ammo test or ammo review as well, because this ammo is not super cheap, but it is, you know, a really good high quality ammo, the Federal Gold Medal match. Well, I found out, or I see that AAC, I think this is owned by Palmetto PSA or something. They also make a 308 Winchester 168 grain SMK. Let's show you guys that as well. You know, they even have the Sierra logo here. This is AAC's 168 Sierra SMK or Sierra Match King bullet, and this is what Federal uses. So let's just take a look real quick, see if there's a physical difference, because I think I checked this before. I couldn't find anything. On my left, on this hand, is the Federal. This right here is the AAC. They look almost identical, except the AAC is a little bit shorter or deeper into the case than the Federal, but they both are the hollow points. Slightly looks like this hollow point is a little bit of a bigger diameter, and on the bottom here, Federal puts a type of sealant there at the primer, and AAC doesn't. Let's just pick two more. Maybe those are quality control flukes. Second pair, AAC is still shorter, a little bit larger hole. So I don't know, we're going to try the different. Let's just see what the difference is. If they both get the same accuracy, 28 yards, maybe 200 yards as well, then, you know, why should I spend more money on the Federal one if I'm getting the same kind of ballistics and trajectory and performance out of the cheaper AAC one when it comes on sale? But of course, you know, if the Federal one comes on sale, why not buy that too? But anyway, I want to try that out. And then I have some other ammunition here. This is Defender's ammunition, 308 Winchester Subsonic, 175 grain hollow point boat tail. Hollow point boat tail. Let's see. I mean, it looks similar anyway to the Sierra Match King. Obviously, it's a heavier bullet, but you know, I want to try that with a suppressor. And then this is one by AAC as well. It's a 168 grain as well, but it's called Open Tip Match. You know, it does not say SMK on it. The hole looks a little bit smaller than the SMK version from AAC, by the way. And it looks like they seat the bullet at the same height as well. I want to make a comparison as well to that. Is this 168 OTM, you know, going to give me the same ballistics and trajectories and everything performance that the 168 Sierra Match King does? Let's find out, you know, then I don't have to. I think this is the cheaper of the three anyway, so go ahead and go with the cheaper, stock up on the more affordable one if it's going to give you similar or, you know, the same ballistics. That's how I look at it. And then I have some pre-workout here. Well, actually it's a Black Butterfly, but they give you it into some kind of pre-workout bottle, it looks like. Some Black Butterfly subsonic ammunition as well. Basically what I want to do with some of these subsonics is I want to just test how quiet they are, test the accuracy. I mean, a lot of the subsonic is meant for a 1 in 10 inch twist twist barrel. Obviously I don't have that, and I really like shooting it suppressed, so what am I going to do, right? I mean, we can still shoot suppressed for the Supersonic 168 grainers over here, just to see, because it does help you with the recoil and everything like that. Let's see if we get additional velocity and if it affects any of the accuracy, and let's find out. I mean, maybe at close distance it won't, but we'll try it again at far distance as well. So in any case, that's what I want to do with this Subsonic. You know, maybe I can find the best Subsonic. I still want to shoot Subsonic. Maybe there's a certain one. This is a 220 grain and this is a 175 grain. Maybe one or the two is going to fly better than the other. I don't know. We'll see if the velocity is a factor. If, you know, if we shoot with the suppressor and I'm getting keyholing and crappy, you know, groups and everything down there, then, you know, we'll just shoot Subsonic for fun, just for the quietness, but not for practical reasons where we're going to hunt with Subsonic with the suppressor because maybe the twist rate is not fast enough in this bolt action rifle. Okay, so first up, guys, we'll try the AAC 308 Winchester 168 grain SMK, and we're going to do 3 shots again. We're not going to touch the sights. We're going to see if they still say sighted in, which it probably will, and maybe it'll still be super accurate, just maybe not exactly sighted in where I sighted in the Federal. But let's see what changes, if there's any changes. 3 shots, we'll get a velocity reading here as well. This one says on the box 2650, 2650, the same as the Federal gold medal match. Okay, so things on paper look the same. Let's see if physically they are. Okay, all right, here we go. I'll do the bottom right here of the target at 28 yards, same as before. That is pretty accurate, right in the white dot. Wow, 26.99. Okay, even faster than the Federal.
2,770. 2,095.
All right, I'm not going to talk about it, guys, because I want it to be a surprise for all of us. Now, let's try 3 of the 168 grain OTMs. Now, these are not SMKs. These are open tip matches. Basically, this also says 2650, the same exact velocity as well. Now, maybe it's a knockoff of the SMK. It's called Precision, same bullet weight. Looks the same because it's an open tip match bullet like the SMK, but not labeled as an SMK. Let's see if I get same or similar results. Okay, we are ready to go. We got the chronograph set up. Let's see if it's even faster than all of the other ones. But yeah, 26, it was under 2650 for the Federal, higher than the 2650, higher than the average on the AAC. And let's see what the this Precision one from AAC is.
$2,713.
Even faster, guys. What's going on? So we go even faster now with the every one that I'm trying is even faster than the previous one. Let's see.
2,705.
Wow. Okay.
2,704.
Let's go check it out, guys. On average, we'll talk a little bit about the averages here. 2707, which was 2650 advertised. Okay, that was the OTM match 168 grain from AAC. Now with the 168 grain SMK from AAC, 2700 even on the average, right? And then the last one, who knows? It could also be an effect of the barrel being warmed up better now. But the Federal one was 2633, which was less in 3 shots. So who knows? I mean, that second one was 2642. In general, I'm still going to say it's probably lower than advertised. All right, guys, let's take a look at the results here. This is the target, still at 28 yards, 27 yards, whatever. The Federal, 1 in the bullseye, 2 over here. This is the similar one, the 168 grain SMK from AAC, which really 2 groups right here. I got the first 2 shots were like right next to each other. Then that third one maybe pulled a little bit. I don't know. Most of them seem to be generally on the left side. Maybe I need to touch my scope a little bit. This is the 168 OTM from AAC. First, second, third shot. So in general, what I can see here is this one's supposed to be premium, right? However, the other 2, either the OTM or the Sierra SMK bullet here, all 3 are 168 grains. You know, I'm not seeing any improvement or anything that's better at this range. We'll see if there's any difference at the long range. But, you know, right now, I'm going to go with the cheaper one and still get the same performance or ballistics or trajectory. Maybe even a little bit better than that over there. I mean, these seem pretty tight compared to that, even though they all look great. But, you know, that's the results right now that I'm getting. Now that we've established our zeros without a suppressor, let's go ahead and just check it with the suppressor and see if any of the zeros are affected by this. And if so, then we'll just have to account for that. Maybe I will jot down or make notes here. So let's go ahead. We're going to shoot suppress for Supersonic 168 grain from Federal SMK here. And we're going to see if we get any changes on our bullet impacts here. And then we're also going to check the velocity too, okay? Last recoil, feels really nice, a little quieter. Oh, it said duplicate, so.
2,647.
Ah,
2,634.
that was a flyer, guys. Let's ignore that bottom one, but I'll show you that later. But okay, we still didn't get faster. You know, we still got similar velocity than without a suppressor, so I'm not gaining any more velocity with this ammunition with a suppressor. So now let's do the same for the OTM and accuracy test with a suppressor. Let's see what happens now that we got the AAC Precision 168 grain OTM, okay? Let's see if we get any differences in velocity or accuracy. Still getting 2700s. Okay, we are very consistent there. Why does it only show 2 shots and I took 3 shots? All right, guys, I'm getting annoyed, so let's do one more. I hope this doesn't mess up my grip over there. All right.
2,735.
Okay, well, that was the fastest of them all. All right, now let's do the AAC Sierra Match King SMK 168 grain. Should be the same or similar as the Federal one. As we know, though, the bullet is seated in a little bit deeper, and maybe that's why I get a little bit more velocity. Who knows? It could be the reason why. Maybe, I don't know if it's the same powder charge or anything. I'd have to pull the bullet and empty the grains and see what happens. But all right, now we're going to see if we have any velocity changes or accuracy changes with the SMK version of AAC. It's windy. I don't know if it's going to matter, but I got berms on the left and right side, but hopefully it doesn't change anything. I mean,
2,729.
2729. Okay, I think we got a little bit more velocity than usual. Hopefully that wind, maybe at long range, doesn't affect what I'm doing here today.
2,719. 2,717.
Don't really like that group. I don't know if that's true or not, but could be me getting tired. Can't be that bad. Let's try it again with the suppressor. Let's try a couple more shots here. See if it's me or not. I'm gonna try to get my eye break here, a little rest. Try 2 more shots and see if anything tightens up or if it stays the same the way it is, okay? Won't be gripping this trigger at all.
2,700. 2,704.
Okay, we are clear. Let's go take a look at it, guys. So on average on that last one, for example, it's an average of 2713, okay? SMKs with no suppressor, 2700. So we slightly get a little bit more increase. I didn't change the location of the chronograph or anything, so everything is consistent. We don't get as much improvement out of the suppressor like I noticed with the 22 suppressor. So yeah, with this is a Trash Panda suppressor. You don't get a lot more difference in the suppressor velocity, so maybe hopefully I don't get any differences with my zeros. As you can see, the original shots here, and here, the Federal SMK, AAC SMK, AAC OTM, and then these are all of the suppressed shots. So OTM suppressed, SMK, AAC suppressed, and suppressed Federal SMK. So in any case, I had circle right there, it's already shot off, and yeah, very tight shot. This was the last one. Remember, I had to do 4 shots because I was missing a shot in the velocity test. Well, the first 3 were right there. The last one, I would say I pulled it. But anyway, very, very accurate. This is actually, you know, when the barrel is warmed up, so, you know, these are comparable, maybe a little bit tighter now with the Federal SMK. Over here, I shot next. This is the Federal OTM. First 3 shots here. And I did a 4 shot as well because it didn't meet the velocity. I didn't get a velocity measurement out of that, so that was the 4th one. So 3 here, up and down. 4th one a little bit pulled to the left here, but even tighter than before. So the suppressor so far is looking like it's making my group better. Down here though, this may be when I'm just getting tired. This is the Federal or the AAC SMK here. 1, 2, 3. They were really, really bad right here. bring it closer here so you can see 1, 2, 3, they're really bad. Then I was like really mad at myself. So I said, let's just get 2 more shots. So 1, 2, and I was always aiming here. So maybe the suppressor did mess with my Federal or my AAC SMK a little bit by about a ½ inch or so right here. But in general, the suppressor didn't make much of a difference at all as far as my accuracy goes. And so I'm probably still going to lean towards maybe getting this AAC OTM, which is giving me the same kind of ballistics or even better than the Federal 168 grain SMK. So now let's go ahead and have some fun with the Subsonics. Not really going to do much with them. We're going to just see how they change or what they seem like they're doing out of a 1 and 12 inch twist barrel with a suppressor. Let's just aim like here, here, and here and see what I get. Okay, so it's nice with the suppressor that I didn't really have to adjust anything really, or I don't feel comfortable adjusting anything really on the scope based on the results of all 3 of these various types of ammunition here. So we'll keep it sighted in for 168 grain. Any 3 of those is going to give me the same or similar results. So now the point of this subsonic test is just really to see, can it really shoot well or consistently or accuracy with a 1 and 12 inch twist, because they are usually, these are meant for basically 1 and 10 inch twist barrels. Let's go ahead and then we'll also, I'm going to try to get some subsonic velocity measurements. So we'll do 3 of this black butterfly. Let's compare ammos here. We've got 2 subsonics here, right? We've got the black butterfly and also the Defender ammunition here as well. You can see a difference. Defender ammunition on the right, and this one, black butterfly, 220 grain, 173, 175. But you can see different noses or whatever. But we'll see how they both work, if they make any difference in the 1 and 12 inch barrel here that I have. But both ammos on their website say that it's rated for 1 and 12 inch twist. I mean, sorry, I've been saying it wrong the whole time. Both of the listings say that they're meant for a 1 and 10 inch twist barrel. So I have a 1 and 12. Let's see if I get any keyholing or bad accuracy with the suppressor on it. Also, let's see what velocity I'm getting. I'm always curious, it's always good to have numbers in the back of your mind or things you can reference the next time you want to go shooting, just to like know, oh yeah, if I take that ammo, I know I'm going to get this velocity, and I can type it into shooter's calculator and kind of understand maybe what the ballistics is going to be. Okay, black butterfly, let's check the velocity. We'll do top left here. $972, super slow on a 308.
1,089.
All right, there you go. We'll check it out later after we get some Defender one. Now, Defender used to be my go-to ammunition company. Really great prices, really good ammo. It's still really good ammo. However, since COVID, they use the excuse as well to increase their prices, especially on shipping. If other companies don't have to raise it that much, why should they, or why do they have to? I mean, I don't live too far away from them. They have more expensive shipping than typical companies. But, if you need specific ammo from them, buy in bulk, buy it all at one time so that you can save money on shipping. Other than that, there's other good options out there for a better price. So let's go ahead and shoot this in the middle of the target. This one says on the box you're going to get 1,050 feet per second. Let's see if that's what we actually get, because the previous ammo was getting less than 1,000 feet per second out of this long barrel. Sounds quieter actually. $990.
990.
All right, let's go take a look at it. All those were less than 1,000 feet per second, well, except one. On average, 992 when it said it was supposed to be at 1050. Now, I can't remember what the advertised velocity of the black butterfly is, not on the container, but it is on the website. Maybe I can put that up as well. When I crunch all these numbers, I'll put all of that in there. But on average, I was getting faster velocity out of the 220 grain, 1,049. So why was I getting faster velocity out of the heavier bullet when I was the lighter bullet was going slower? But anyway, let's take a look at the target. Now, what I expected was not this good of results with a 1 and 12 inch twist, which is what I have, because this ammo says on the website it's rated for 1 and 10 inch twist, a faster rate, right? So this is the black butterfly. I was aiming always here at this white circle, right? And it was dropping 2 inches, right? 1, 2, 3. The second 2 shots were basically right on top of each other at 1.5 inches below the point of aim. So I could probably adjust my suppressor for this, or I just understand in my mind it'll be lower than typical. And at 27 yards, I need to aim about a couple inches higher. We'll see what happens at longer range. I don't know. I don't really want to mess with the scope at the moment because it's set for the supersonic loads, and they both work perfectly with and without the suppressor at the same site. But in any case, in the back of your mind, keep in mind that, you know, when you're shooting subsonic out of the Steyr rifle there, you're going to be a little bit lower. Same for the Defender ammunition. The first shot was here, about 1.5 inch lower. All of them seem to be a 1.5 inch lower. Going slower, actually. First shot and then two on top of each other. So I don't know what's going on. Always the second two shots are really close together. So anyway, no keyholing. So I'm pretty happy about that. Glad to see that, actually. But at least, you know, doing all of these tests with my favorite rifle right now, my favorite bolt action rifle, the 308 Winchester Steyr Pro THB 26-inch barrel, I'm liking what I see. That gun is super accurate. Any mistakes like this that you can see, like pulling it, that's definitely operator error. That gun is so beautifully accurate. It feels nice and everything. Let's go back up there and take a look at it.
All right, for all of you data nerds just like me, here's all of the data that I have for all of the not suppressed ammunition. Again, this is no suppressor for all of the 168 grain bullets that I fired. So the first one on the left is the more expensive premium Federal gold medal match, 168 grain Sierra Match King ammunition here. Now the advertised velocity was 2,650 feet per second, and on average I was getting 2,633, and the max that I even got was 2642. I didn't even get to 2650. So in any case, I'm getting 17 feet per second less than advertised, and this is out of a 26-inch barrel, guys. I don't know what they tested out of, and I'm not sure if you miss much more velocity when you go longer the barrel. Maybe they tested out of 20 or 24-inch, but this is what I was getting out of a 26-inch barrel. Now in the middle there's the AAC version of the SMK, still 168 grain, same advertised velocity, and on average I was getting 2,700 feet per second. Now the maximum was 2707, so I was getting 50 feet per second more than advertised, and this is a more cheaper box than the Federal SMK. And then on the right, AAC OTM. I still feel like it's an SMK bullet, but it's not labeled as an SMK. They're both open tip match bullets, but here it wasn't advertised as an SMK, but it is a precision round, as they say on the box. Now here, same 2650 advertised velocity and 2,707. So I was getting 7 feet per second more than the SMK version of the AAC, but in general, 57 feet per second more than advertised. So in general, both AACs were going faster than the Federal SMK bullets. So the more expensive Federal gold medal match SMK velocity is less than advertised compared to the AACs. Now here on the next page is a little bit more interesting. It's suppressed ammunition. All of these were suppressed, shooting the same ammunition suppressed. And so obviously, as you already know from the previous slide, I mentioned what the advertised velocity was 2,650 feet per second. So the Federal was going 18 feet per second less than advertised on average there, 1 feet per second more than the unsuppressed. So you're only going to gain 1 foot per second faster than not shooting suppressed. So in general, you're kind of staying in the same ballpark of what you're shooting suppressed or unsuppressed with this Federal SMK ammunition, which was kind of interesting. Now the AAC ammunition, the SMK version of it, you're getting 63 feet per second more than advertised and 13 feet per second more than without the suppressor. So you're gaining still a little bit more, just not a lot maybe, but 13 feet per second more. And then the OTM on the far right, we got the same exact average out of suppressed as we did with the SMK. So both of the AACs were shooting at the same speed on average. So here, same thing, 63 feet per second more than advertised and 13 feet per second more than the unsuppressed version from the previous slide. So in general, both AACs had the same velocity, very concise, and Federal basically had no change in the suppressed or unsuppressed ammunition. And so here, this is just because I had some subsonic ammunition that I wanted to try out and get some chronographs, and maybe that's interesting for you. Out of the 26-inch barrel from Steyr here on the Pro THB, so the Black Butterfly, the advertised velocity was 1,050 feet per second. Not sure what barrel length they were testing it out of, but of course mine was 26 inches, and I was getting 1 feet per second less than advertised. So we can say more or less they are generally according to what the box says. And then the Defender, I also shot suppressed. It is advertised at 1,025 feet per second, and I was getting less than that, actually 992 feet per second, which isn't any big deal for me. And in general, I mean, I'm not looking for a high velocity if I'm shooting suppressed anyway. So if it's less, going to be quieter, more or less. So I was getting 33 feet per second less than advertised. Not going to complain too much from that, but I'm wondering, you know, what barrel length did they also test it out of? So that was a 175 grain bullet, and it was going less than a heavier bullet at 220 grains there. So the heavier bullet was going faster for some reason. So both are very quiet ammunitions. Very interesting to see that the heavier bullet was faster than a lighter bullet, of course, but I love both and I recommend either of these actually. But at long range at 200 yards, as you can see later on in the video, neither of these hit the target at 200 yards. So that bullet is either tumbling now because I don't have a 1 in 10 inch twist, or, you know, they're just losing so much velocity that their trajectories just plummeted when we got past 100 yards or so. Now this graph, I hopefully is a good visual to show in general what everything looked like, summarizing all of the data that I showed you before. So on the left here, you know, every ammunition here has two bar graphs here. One is suppressed, one is unsuppressed. Green for suppressed, unsuppressed is yellow. And then you have the blue line for the average there. So as you can see, the Federal gold medal basically didn't have any change between suppressed or unsuppressed, and it was just slightly below the advertised velocity. Now the SMKs there, you can see that you did get a little bit more velocity out of suppressed versus the unsuppressed, but not so much, and both of those exceeded the advertised velocities. Over there on the bottom right, or the right side there, Black Butterfly and Defender, there you can see where we had the advertised velocity, the blue line, and we were under that basically. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Let's get on with the video and go with the 200-yard range test.
Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the short range here at 28 yards with this rifle, getting it sighted in for the near zero, knowing what it's going to do with the suppressor on it and with super and subsonic ammunition. So another thing about this suppressor, this is Q Trash Panda, it's really nice suppressor, fits really good on this Steyr Pro THB rifle. So I think now let's go ahead and take this out to a little bit longer range. Now I don't have an exact, I can't really make an exact 190, I think it's 191 far zero, but we have targets at 200 yards, so about 8 or 9 more yards farther. Let's just take a look and see what the bullet drop is. Shooter calculator will account for that and let you know what that is. Let's just go ahead and see what it says. So that's what's neat about the shooter's calculator, give you all these ballistics on real ideal conditions, or you can put your wind speeds and things like that in there. Obviously go ahead and put your elevations in, which I've done for my location. But at 200 yards, it says it's only supposed to drop 0.07 inches, so maybe just like 1 inch drop max that I should expect. I don't really have to do this at the exact far zero just to see what it is. I'll just shoot at 200 yards and see what the drop is at that range from the point of aim, okay? And then I want to kind of also see how tight of a group it is, and if it's not tight of a group, it's probably just me shooting, because yeah, I'm getting a little sore already after doing a lot of shooting today. So let's go out to the long range. All right, we're out here. We're going to shoot the Steyr bolt action. We're going to go all the way down there to the 200 yard. As you can see, got my cardboard here with some 3-inch circle dots just to kind of use as targets. Hopefully I can be close within there. We're about to see how accurate it is. Now, like I said, the point blank range was out to 200 some yards. At 200 yards, it says that it was supposed to be at 0.7 inch drop. So I'm gonna aim dead center like usual at the green targets, and I shouldn't be more than an inch, hopefully, as long as I can be a good shot to get these on target. So we're going to try to see if everything matches up with the maximum point blank range. We're going to try it with the suppressor and without. And, you know, with the suppressor, I did not see any changes in accuracy at close range at the near zero, 28 yards or so. So we'll see if there's any change in accuracy at a longer distance with the suppressor using supersonic ammo. And I might use some subsonic ammo at the end, but I'll explain all of the results later. So I'll do the shooting, and then next we'll show you guys the results. All right, evidence, guys. Target is 200 yards. I gotta go all the way back up there to the bench, and let's see what happens. Okay, guys, I did the test at 200 yards with the Steyr rifle, and I didn't record that just because, you know, there's other people there, and it'll just make the video go a lot quicker. But I got the target from 200 yards right here, and let's kind of go over what happened during the shooting here, just to see if there's any kind of shift in the trajectory of the bullet, and also with and without the suppressor. So you can see I had a bunch of these green 3-inch circles here at 200 yards. This circle was for the Federal 168 grain SMK, and the shots were this one, this one, this one, and this one. So at 200 yards, I was aiming at the middle of this green target. The very first shot was here. I knew I pulled it, so that's when I tried to get my act together and try again, and the next 3 were here in the green. So that's the Federal 168 grain SMK, obviously 308 for all of these. The next one here, we had a shot here, here, and here. This is the AAC. That's their version of the 168 grain SMK. Okay, so you see the group was like a little bit of a triangle. I was aiming here on all of them. And then this one over here is also the AAC. However, this one was the OTM 168 grain. Basically, to me, it looked the same as the SMK, maybe just their version of the SMK and just called it OTM. So I had a shot there, a hit here and here. A little bit of a bigger group here. But, you know, the green circles are 3-inch hockey puck size stickers. So you can tell, obviously, all the groups were within 3 inches here. You know, here, I would say that's about a 3-inch group, maybe 3.5. And, you know, as I go on, maybe I'm getting a little bit fatigued there looking down the scope. All right, now let's talk about these stickers down here at the bottom. These were where I was aiming with the suppressor on, okay? This is also the Federal 168 grain SMK, but as I can see, all of the hits were higher and a little bit to the left. Who knows if that was me or not doing the left or right. I was shooting off of a bipod, not the whole gun being an arrest. So some of this could also be user error, and it could be a little bit more accurate than what I was able to do. But you know, it's towards the end of the day, maybe a little bit more fatigued, and I was just able to still get a group like this. So that's suppressed. Okay, so that's suppressed. Aiming here, I don't know, I'd have to measure this, but I would say it's a good maybe 4 inches up higher than where I was trying to aim, but they grouped nicely at least. Over here, same thing, the AAC 168 grain SMK, but it was suppressed. I was aiming here and the shots were high, okay? Now, that group, I would say if this sticker was over the top of that, you know, we can take one of these stickers. I'm sure that's like a 3-inch group as well. And also over here, the suppressed shots of the 168 grain OTM suppressed, right? Okay. So as you can see, I think we can maybe conclude that since it was consistently higher than where I was aiming, was I really fatigued and just messing up the whole time? I don't know for 9 shots here, but in general, they all seemed a little bit higher. So maybe that's due to the additional velocity that I was getting, that the trajectory of the rounds were staying higher. So if you wanted, you could dial in your scope, or just keep this in mind that, you know, at 200 yards, you know, you might be within here, which that's probably about 3.5 inches higher, you know, on this, based off of this top hit here. Same here maybe, and maybe here a little bit higher as far as 4 inches. So just think about it when you're shooting suppressed with the Steyr bolt action 308 using these rounds, you're going to be hitting higher than your point of aim. Now, if you didn't have a suppressor on, you're more or less still going to be dead on. I think max point blank range on the shooter's calculator showed that you should be dead on a little bit after 200 yards. I don't know, we'll put it up on the screen, but you know, I should have seen a little bit more of a drop or whatever, but it looks like it was pretty much consistent in line of where I was shooting. So in any case, what does this conclude? Does it mean that the 168 grain SMK is better long distance? I'm not sure, because I didn't have so much confidence in these as far as my shooting ability, but hey, this was the first one I shot, so I wasn't fatigued or anything. These, I felt good on every shot, I thought. So, you know, I don't think the cost difference, if you can get the Federal 168 grain SMKs, why not? Go ahead and get it. It is not bad ammo. It's really good ammunition. But if you're looking for an alternative that's basically the same thing, going to give you similar ballistics results, go ahead and get the AAC SMKs or the OTMs, both 168 grain, seem to pretty much do the same thing here. So one last thing that I forgot to mention on this 200-yard target is that this over here, just that top one, basically was reserved for shooting actual suppressed ammunition. The Defender hollow point boat tail, I think, is 175 grain, and the Black Butterfly 220 grain. And as you can see, I got nothing on there. So at 200 yards, even though I was hitting the target at my near zero at 28 yards, and it was a little bit lower, they were not even making it to the 200 yards. So you're definitely going to have to resight that scope in, or at least check out shooter's calculator and see what the bullet drop was. But yeah, nothing hot at 200 yards with suppressed ammunition from the Steyr, because definitely you're going to have to resight it in. All of this was for supersonic ammunition. You're not going to be able to use your holdovers for 200 yards. I mean, at least when you're shooting close range, at least you kind of have an idea that you'll be hitting a little bit lower with subsonic ammunition. And of course, with suppressed ammunition, you're going to be shooting a little bit higher. It's pretty much the end of the video, guys. I really love that Steyr Pro THB bolt action rifle. What are your guys' experience with it? I mean, if you're on the fence on getting one, if you found one for a good price, definitely get it. I would highly recommend it. It shoots great, probably better than me. You know, I'm sure other shooters that are better shooters than me will tighten up these groups even better with these rounds here. But with the 168 grain paired with the 1 and 12-inch twist, I think you're set to go for really good long distance ranges. And you know, unfortunately, my range is only going up to 200 yards. I can't test past that much, really. But you know, that 308 out of that 26-inch barrel from Steyr, this bullet's really going to be going far. So in any case, short distances, we already went over that. Looks really good on all 3 rounds. And in that case, you know, if you're going between 100 to 150 or something like that, or anything from 150 and closer, you know, definitely not going to matter which one you get. They're all going to group very well and have really good accuracy. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Sorry the video was long. Please use the timeline below to go where you want to see what's more interesting for you, and hopefully that helps out a lot. And hopefully there's a lot of information in here that also you can take with you for any benefits that you might see. All right, so we'll see you guys later.